I'm sorry. I already had this video done, but I don't want to say the perfectionist, but the person in me is just like, is it really good? Is it really good? Do you really feel like you could do better? And I guess that's the purpose of why I made this channel. It's like, because I already had this thing done. It's like 36 minutes long. And to me, it's just like, okay, you got what you needed to come out, but can you do it shorter, in a much shorter time? Because most of the stuff is off the top of the head, as you realize. One of these days, I told myself I was going to write it down, maybe in an essay form, and then probably just read it off. But I haven't really felt like doing it yet. So it's just like, when I'm doing this, it's just like, do you think you could do it better? And then back in my head, it's like, yeah, I could do it better. Maybe now that I got it out, it's like first time is practice, and then the next time it's you know you're doing it. You just okay. Now you got it to a point where it's more compact. What are we talking about? We're talking about the hypersexuality in men, especially mostly in the black generation, black community. Excuse me. Okay, there is no doubt that black men are hypersexualized. I do believe that. Do I believe why? I just think it's a natural. I just think it's natural for us to be hypersexualized, or like really just want to fuck everything that moves. I feel like that is just in the male's DNA. You know what they say, be fruitful. But, there are things that I do feel like, some things are morally wrong. Like grooming. I do think that grooming is wrong, but I also feel like what in the world is grooming, and what in the world is, like, what can we describe as grooming? Because I feel like grooming is a gray area. Obviously, rape is bad. You can't be going around raping people. Rape is bad. We all get that. That's black and white. Now, when you're talking about things, when you bring things like the Bill Cosby situation, like, that's a gray area. When you bring in the whole situation, like, let's say if you're drunk and the woman's drunk, and if y'all have sex, and all of a sudden she regrets it in the morning, who's at fault? And they'll usually say it's the men, and because because we can hold our liquor better than some women or some shit like that, or he might just got intentionally drunk. When if she got herself drunk, and men have to take that bullet. Honestly, those were one of the reasons why people started this whole men's right movement, because of bullshit like that. But you don't see that before. In the news, I've been seeing this a lot. Like, one of the things I've been seeing a lot in news lately is, like, our kids from, like, the teenage years until they're, like, 20, 21. One of the things that I've seen a lot is, because, like, Sukihana just got shit, and as she deserved, for, like, twerking on a little boy. And Sukihana is just, like, to me, the ultimate thottery. I've always said that. Sukihana is just ultimate thottery, that I feel like if you was a mother and, like, Sukihana was around your child, you would not trust her around your child. Especially if your child is, like, 16-year-old, handsome and all that stuff. Yes, she's, like, she has a man and she's, like, married or some shit like that, but that bitch is not a good influence. And that bitch is, like, you don't trust her around your kids because she might fuck your kid. That's understandable. Understandable. But those usually be the... I don't want to say Sukihana in general, but, we all know a person like that, they'll probably look at your son as like, I will fuck your son. Like, you see some of these, the way, especially if your son is handsome. You see, like, some of the old heads just like, if I was just 20 years younger, I'd probably be all up on that. Or, you done heard that, you just gonna be a heartbreaker to these little kids. And you as a young teenage boy, and you looking at them, it's just like, especially some of your mama's friends, if they fine as hell, you be like, I'll break your back, old lady. I'll give you the dick if you want. Nick, like, this is one of the things that, as men, we go through. Like, we know things are morally wrong. And I had this conversation. Shout out to my girl Crystal, because we done had to, and who is a mother, with a teenage son. So I know this is one of her biggest worries, and I feel her too, because it's just like, and I gave her my opinions. I gave her my honest opinions when we had this conversation about this, because she brought up, it was a woman that was on TikTok. Now she said it was a joke, but take it how you want it. But she had this whole thing about, I guess her son had a friend that she thought she was fine, and I guess you could tell that she like she was looking at the mother, and the mother was like, when you get 25, you come see me. And when the boy hit 25, he came and seen her, and she was like, well, I'm a woman of my word, and she gave him some. Now, is that grooming? And to me, I was like, I understand why, if you're a mother, why some people would call that grooming. But I've also said that joke. But I've also said he is an adult. They're both consenting adults, so they can do what they want. She said 25. So obviously he's been waiting on that. Obviously he's been waiting on that since he was 25. She probably, I don't know what's been happening before then, or if she ever seen him again, or it's just one of those things where she told that boy at 17, like she said it was a joke. Now I'm just saying, her words, she did say it was a joke or some shit like that. And the woman is fine. Like, that woman is fine. And so I know that nigga was just like, oh, she's still fine? Oh, I'm going to tap that. It's like, when I turn 25, I'm going to tap that. I can see where people don't like the fact that she said that or do that, or, people look at that as grooming. And I even told my homegirl, Crystal, I said, morally, I can see why you think that's wrong. And I understand. But at the same time, they're consenting adults. So they're both consenting adults. So they're not breaking no laws. As far as, them not breaking no laws, she didn't break no laws. She didn't do anything wrong. Now, if you find that morally wrong, I understand that. And it's one of those things where the next thing, that popped up, and she was like, she did think that's grooming. And I can't remember what she said, but it was a good reason why she did say that was grooming. And it's just like, you have a point. When a woman has a point, you have a point. Especially if it's your son. You don't want your son dealing with old hoes anyway. I feel like as a woman, you don't want your son dealing with old hoes, old 304s. Obviously. So, and even then, the next thing, like, I seen, because like we done had this conversation too, it was a 16-year-old, and I think y'all knew about this in the news. It was a 16-year-old that it was a 28-year-old woman that sent news to a 16-year-old on a Snapchat because she liked him. And, it got to a conversation about, how some of these older women, some of these older teachers, they're having sex with their students, the 16s, 17s, 18s. And, either they like them or they just want to have sex with them. And, like, it got to this conversation, and I said this, as a 33-year-old man, that is wrong. And I'm saying this right now. That's obviously grooming. That's morally wrong. This happens all the time, but nobody really speaks about it. You're right about all that. And obviously we all, as men, we all know that. And I told her, speaking for myself, and this is me speaking for myself, if I was 16 and one of my finance teachers wanted to fuck me, I am not turning it down. I'm not turning it down. Especially as one of those teachers I like, I'm gonna be like, shit. And then I'm gonna feel like the man after it. It's like, I know, and I told her, I know it's like, I think she, and I hopefully I explained to her where she understood. Because it's like, because I always say this, in your teenage years, that's where like you're at your. I don't care what anybody says. That's where you're at your peak, hormonically, and that's where you're like, as far as your hormones, you're just raising hormones. You're like the fucking Hulk. All right. Unless you don't have control over your sex, you're just going to be fucking everything that moves, or you're going to want to fuck everything that moves. That's why we have, that's why we have like things like laws and legislation that falls under sex. Like in Maryland, the consent of age of sex is 16. Now, in some states it's 18. In some states it's 17. I know in Maryland it's 16. I know in Alabama it's like 14, 13. I know in some countries it's around that same age, 13, 14. Obviously, as a if a 16-year-old person have sex with a 21-year-old person and the 16-year-old person consented, the 21-year-old didn't do anything wrong. Morally, it's fucking wrong as fuck. Yes, morally, it's fucking wrong. And but as like I said, it was a 20. Let's say it was a 30-year-old man fucking a 16-year-old girl, like some R. Kelly shit. That nigga would be obviously under the jail because that shit is disgusting. Everybody looking at him as a pedophile. You get him the fuck out of here. But if it's a 30-year-old woman fucking a 16-year-old man or a 60-year-old boy, most of America, and I know we're living in a world now where people are calling it out. But let's be real, and I've done seen a lot of men say this. They're looking at it. What the fuck is wrong with that? I was fucking at 16. I was fucking older bitches at 16. I was fucking women twice my age. Now, some men may not see that as a problem. Hell, some of us know it's morally wrong. But she was fine as hell. Like, and this is what I told Crystal, and this is what I tell everybody. Sometimes we know it's morally wrong. And this is not just like sex. This is most of anything. Like, you rob a bank, it's illegal to rob a fucking bank. But you just trying to get some money. Ain't no justifying it. It's just like, you're just trying to get some money. I needed the money. I was desperate. I needed the money. And the thing about the 60-year-old woman and 30-year-old woman thing is, as men, we don't get pussy thrown at us, which I've told, and she understood this because as women, and I say this all the time, and I feel sorry for y'all women that do this, because this happens to y'all, because I know it's aggravating, and this is why y'all say no a lot. But when it comes to men turning down pussy, we don't turn down pussy a lot. But women, y'all have had dick offered to y'all in so many fucking ways, either on a silver platter or on a trash can. You said no to either. You either said no to either. No thank you, no thank you, no, ill, please, no, get away from me. As you should. As you should. Men, we don't really get that. It's like we don't just get, and a lot of these women don't understand that. It's like, I know men that have a lot of sex, they get pussy thrown on. That's like the 10%. But but the rest of the 90%, sometimes they barely get pussy thrown at them. That's why niggas be taking the lowest common denominator pussy, the low vibrational pussy, or they'll pay for pussy, or like when do you hear a woman paying for dick? And I say this all the time. If you're a woman and you're paying for dick, something is wrong with you. And that's a side note. If you are a woman paying for penis, something is wrong. And you are not in the porn industry, something is wrong with you. You want to like you can get dick from anybody. I understand you choose not to. Yes, you have standards and all that other stuff, but but some of y'all is just like, that's why it's like, oh, I'm lonely. You hear those, I'm lonely. It's like, all them niggas in your friend zone offering you dick, and sometimes y'all women be like this too. I just want some dick. It's like, all them niggas in your friend zone, all them niggas in your phone, and you can't get not one of them to come through and smash your ass. Something wrong with you. And some of you women know that, and shut the fuck up. You know that. But shout out to the women with standards, because obviously, you know, you want a quality man to have quality, to live a quality life with. You know, don't want to fuck your pH balance up. But for men, that shit don't happen a lot. So especially if the 20 like the funny thing about these stories about, you know, the teachers having sex with the young male students, every picture I seen, they're either cute or they're looking like some baddies. Like the 28-year-old that, you know, sent news to the Snapchat is like, she's cute, she's very attractive. You're like, you telling me you can't get a man your age or older that, you know, want to smash or some shit like that, or you know, take interest to, that you ain't even got to give it to this little boy. But you over there sending news, it's just like, what is wrong with you? So yeah, even men, we like as far as like hypersexuality, sometimes we'll just take anything. That's why you hear a lot of times where it's just like, we fuck these low vibrational women, and you like, why'd you fuck her? You know she no good. She ain't nothing. Like, she got nothing going for herself. We go, she had a fat ass. It was like, nigga, she had a fat ass. I was trying to see what that ass was like. Or she got some huge ass titties. I was trying to see them titties. You know, trying to suck the dick and some shit. Like, she was trying to suck my dick, and I was like, fuck it. I don't get my dick sucked off. I was going to take it. You know, that's a lot. You don't hear women talking about that. It's just like, you know, I'm in the need of desperation. I would say this, even if y'all was desperate, y'all still have your pick of the litter of who do y'all want to fuck. But sometimes with men, it's just like, shit, I don't know when's the next time I'm going to get some sex. I'm going to go ahead and jump on it. Even ugly women. I would say this, even ugly women have the obligation to just like, you know what? Fuck it. Especially if you got a fat ass. If you ugly with a fat ass. Matter of fact, I would say this, if you ugly with a fat ass, you're more liable to get, you know, niggas trying to see what was up. You know, like, I'm trying to see what that ass is like. She ain't pretty. You know, she ain't the best looking chick, but she had a fat ass. Nigga, I fuck. Like, I like, especially in the black community. I don't know how many times where I done seen some, especially if you a light, and I don't want to bring colorism in this, but I've seen this a lot. Especially if you a light-skinned joint. If you like light-skinned and you thick, either thick or you like, you could even say morbidly obese, but you have like a pretty face, niggas be like, nigga, I still hit that. I done seen it. It's like girls be shaped like a ball in a cup, and niggas just like, I still hit that. Like the whole thing about Pinky, and I done did a video on that about, you know, niggas still try to hit on Pinky. Niggas is just like, fuck it, I hit on that. Because niggas is always horny. We are some horny motherfuckers. Just like, I heard niggas say, like, I done said this in the video. Some of them niggas said, nigga, I fucked just off of nostalgia. Like, Pinky looked like a whole fucking big toe. And yes, we was clowning, but there was other niggas like, I still hit. Because you know what Pinky could do. And I always said this, Pinky is one of those special cases because you done seen her work in her videos. And like, she's a porn star, so you done seen her work in a video, so you know you won't get that good sloppy toppy. And you know, she knows how to fuck too. So it's just like, oh shit, you know, I fucked just off of GP, or I fucked just off of nostalgia. That's how niggas is looking at it. Now you see people like Blueface is just like, you know, fucked 1,000 women. Why does he have that? Why does he just like have that mentality? Even in the alpha male mentality, it's just like a lot of these niggas, they just want to fuck as many bitches they want. It's like if the women are giving it up to them, and especially if you're a man of status, you're trying to fuck as many hot looking bitches like before you even marry. Like some people, they'll just get married, but you know the other dudes, and especially some people in the red pill or the manosphere, they trying to fuck as many bitches as they want. It's like, I'm banging bitches left and right. I'm fucking all these hoes. And that's why you see Future with like 8 baby mamas. You see Youngboy with like 11 baby mamas. Nick Cannon got like 8 baby mamas. Like, these niggas just, you know, they got their pick of the litter. So, you know, everybody's throwing their pussy at them. It's just like, fuck it. I know if I was broke, I wouldn't get this. I might as well take advantage of it now. You got them niggas, and like another thing where, you know, they can have their pick of the litter of the baddest bitches, and they know they're getting used, or just to say I done slept with this person, but they don't care. A lot of men's motives is we don't fucking care, and that's like the whole thing. Even from a youth, it's just like we try and get what we can get. That's why I was like, oh, I be fucking bitch. I knew a dude, and he was a white guy. He fuck, and all he did was fuck on a boat, and he was married, but he was just fucking. And the quality of bitches he was fucking were fucking horrendous. They were some ugly bitches, but the nigga was hit. The nigga was getting his dick sucked. The nigga was fucking, and he was in great shape. The nigga he had an awesome physique. Like the nigga took care of himself. Goofy as a motherfucker. But the nigga took care of himself. When he took his shirt off, the nigga had a 6-pack and everything. Just bang. It's just pause. But his body was banging. Pause. I had to pause on that twice. Anyway, but the nigga was fucking everything on that boat. It's just like, ugh. But if you saw the bitches he was fucking, he was like, ew. But like I said, the nigga was getting what he was fitting in. But as far as like the hypersexual side, you want to. The thing is, as far as the men go, it's just like you want to protect your child. Even men, it's just like you don't need to be bringing no kids around, especially if you ain't got no job and you got to take care of your responsibility. Because I'm gonna be honest, as men, we don't really we're just trying to fuck. We don't really think about no responsibilities, or we just trying to get some pussy. Let her know that pussy sometimes it comes with consequences. Not even just STEs, because some niggas will fuck through the STE. Like some niggas is just dirty like that. Some people is just, how can I say this? It's just like I said, sometimes we know the person is a bitch, but she's giving us pussy. It's just like, shit, I'm gonna get no pussy like that. Might as well just fuck. Sometimes we done took one for the team. That's why. Where do you think taking one for the team has come from? It's just like we see a girl that's just not to our standards, but our other man's he's trying to fuck a bad joint, so we'll just take one for the team and fuck the ugly bitch. That's natural in the men. It's like you don't see women taking one for the team, and I know a lot of women. It's like I take one for the team. Not really. I don't believe it. I personally don't believe it. Yes, I'm being real generalistic and I'm being generalization, but I don't believe that shit. I've always said that. But these are also we know as men sometimes it's morally wrong. But there are some, even with the, let's say grooming. Grooming is wrong, but I don't want to say grooming has some gray areas in it, but there are situations that I look at. It's like, do you really think it's grooming? I'm gonna use an example of you're 21 and the person is like 17, and you genuinely like this person. You're not in it for the sex. Like, y'all done had a conversation, you done hit it off, and like you done you can see yourself like in a relationship with her, like building a future with her. Hell, you might even marry her. Is that like, and like you either wait till you either date or you wait till you're 18. Do you consider that grooming? There's some people that they met their wives in high school and they're like 4 or 5 years older, but they end up getting married and having kids. It's like, is that grooming? And this is the question, and those are the questions I'm asking for, because it's just like, well, if they done like the whole thing with Jay-Z and Beyonce, Jay-Z and Beyonce, because a lot of people looked at that as grooming. I was like, I don't think that's grooming, because like they officially like was dating until they 21. Not only that, he married her, and they have 3 kids together. Tiger and Kylie Jenner, I was just like, I don't know, because a lot of people say he like in the words of Charlamagne, red shirt the pussy. It's just like, it's one of those things where it's just like, they were trying to call him a pedophile or some shit like that. It's just like, it's like, is it really? Because he did the right thing. He didn't do nothing legally wrong. It's like, can you really just throw that around? And he looked like he genuinely liked her. It's like, yo, she's real cool chick. And this is what I be telling, and this is what I tell people. It's just like, you find the girl of your dreams. And she's everything that you want her to be. And she's like, and you're 21 and she's like 17. She's everything you want in a woman. You're not gonna try that. And I know niggas who's just like it's just like, I know niggas who's 25. It's just like, I don't want to date nobody 5 years younger than me. And I'm like, you're 25. The youngest is 20. It's like, she's 2 years from adult. She's 2 years into her adulthood. He's like, it might be too young for me. I said, bro, what if you're like 30 and she's 25? It's not going to change. You're still 5 years younger than her. You're still 5 years older than her. That's not grooming. It's like, especially if you genuinely like the person and you want to see yourself in the future with her, I don't consider that as grooming. Like the whole thing with Marcus Houston, him married a 20-year-old, and he was like 40. He married her. Obviously, he wanted a future with her. He married her. It's just like, obviously, that was genuine. And a lot of people look at that but I also see it's just like, because them older women, it's just like, damn, I done missed my opportunity to get married or some shit like that. And nigga married, like, I personally think younger women is always going to be attracted to older men, because I don't know a couple joints that their baby daddy's like 10 years older than them, and they met him in like high school or some shit like that, while they was in high school. And I know, like I said, it's a case by case situation. Like the whole thing, like even talking about this, I'm trying to be careful with my words, because I don't want to sound like I'm for grooming. I'm not, because that dude that was talking about how he could have, like, he was trying to defend R. Kelly and shit, and he was telling his story, exposing himself. That nigga is disgusting to me. That dude is fucking disgusting to me. And every time I was listening to him, I was getting more and more disgusted. I was like, yo, this nigga is fucking disgusting. What makes you think you can do shit like that? What that nigga was doing was grooming. What Boozy did, he was getting an older woman to suck his son off, and like whatever cousins, some shit like that. It was just like, I'm gonna get a girl to give you head. That shit was disgusting to me. It was like, why would you do that, Boozy? I said, that's wrong. I remember saying that, like, but it's just like, I always said there's case by case situations, and I feel like we done. And that's the thing about the gray area, because to some people that be grooming, to some people that's not, and for like men, it's like half of the shit that happens to men, especially if an older woman, like, we don't look at like molestation the same way. Obviously, if a man molests a woman, an older man molests a younger woman, obviously that nigga's going to jail. But if an older woman like molests, we was like, oh, and I never said this, but I have heard this. Oh, the little nigga wanted that and all that other stuff. You don't know if the little nigga wanted that or not. That is a case by case situation. But even then, like I said, if I was 16 and all of a sudden my teacher wanted to fuck me, and I'm speaking for myself personally, I'm not turning that down. But and then, like, if you would have told me, she molested you or some shit like that, I'd be like, no, I wanted that. I would, like, in that, I would have literally said no, because I liked it. It's like, some people like, even if you did like it, that's molestation, in which they are right. And this is why I said, morally, most of the shit that, women say, you're right. But if it happens to men, we sometimes don't care. We really don't. Now, me as an older man in my age now, would I want that happening to my son? No. I would rather my son to focus on the schoolwork and graduate without getting someone pregnant. But I know that he's going to be fighting hormones and ability to not fuck the bitch raw. And he is going to, I got to make sure, like, I teach him well enough that my son, doesn't go through that type of stages. Because, like, I know when T.I.'s son was, one of T.I.'s sons, they was like, Tiny found out he was having sex. And his attitude was very nonchalant about it. But when it came to his daughter, he wanted her to check the hymen and some shit like that. And I said, yeah, that's a father overprotective of the daughters. The sons. I don't want to say the sons can do whatever they want, but when it comes to sex, it's just like you want your son to be a player, and I think that's where the whole, we don't care morals, because like I said, if I was 16, I fucking with about, especially the ones I thought they were super bad. You think I'm going to turn that down? Fuck no. At 60-year-old me, no, I'm gonna be up in that shit. 30-year-old me, I'll be like, don't do it. Don't do it. It's wrong. Don't do it. You fuck that child up mentally. And in conclusion, protect your youth, because shit like this happens a lot, and I do feel like we are very hypersexualized to a point where it's hurting us as a community, because sometimes we just want pussy, and instead of just like getting our shit together, we're trying to fuck something. Hell, I don't know how many times I've seen this. Like, we seen a girl and she's like friendly, and just because she's friendly to us, she thinks we want to fuck. Uh, uh, or niggas be like, "Hey, I'm trying to fuck." Sometimes that's not right. And like I said, it's a case by case basis. But we still gotta protect our youth. Good thing that this generation, we're more or less likely to call it out than like the previous generations. Because even if it happens to them, they didn't fucking care. Because, they just got some pussy. And I'm pretty sure that's never going to change. But it has gotten better. So let me know what you guys think. Till then, my name is Oskino Fly, and I'm out. Peace.